7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
That's right. Welcome to the stream, guys. The first stream we've had, at least scheduled anyway. This is the first Hot Tips Fun Fridays. I hope you guys are having a good time out there. I apologize if there are any delays in the stream. I apologize if there are any buffering problems. They are not my fault, I swear. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, because I totally do not want to screw this up again like I did the last stream, we need to get audio levels figured out right away because, I don't want to be talking super loud, so I need to turn my mic up or down or whatever. So, yeah, hope you guys like that intro. Took a little bit of time, but, when you care about something, you want to do it right. So, one last thing also, there is a pretty good delay in the stream. I wanted to make sure I did everything I possibly could to make sure that you guys had no buffering problems, no connection problems, man. So I want to do as good as I can on your end. So as a result, there will be a significant delay between the times when you comment and the times when I can respond to them. But we're going to have a really, really difficult task today because we are going to be trying to build an SSTO that can hold 15 Kerbals and go to Duna. And that's a really big challenge. In fact, it's something I've never done before. In fact, I'm not even entirely sure I can do it. So instead of having me just come in and try and do it, how about I'm going to start with a design that I have in my head that I think might be a good starting point. And then we can work together with some of your ideas and some of the ideas I might think of on the fly to make this even better. I think that is a great idea. I think. So, now, one thing I am not sure of, because it doesn't show me that I am actually broadcasting it, and so I'm a little bit skeptical on this, is audio for the game. It doesn't look like there's any. So let's go into the spaceplane hangar, and hopefully I see the little meters on my recorder go up. And I'm actually not seeing the meters on my recorder go up at all. So this tells me that maybe we don't even have audio for the game, which is a problem, obviously. So if you can hear the game, cool. If you can't, then I need to do something about that. So let's see if I can figure something out here. I don't think so. If I can't, then this is going to be like me talking in front of a monitor, me talking in front of a screen, and you guys not having any interaction with it. And that's no fun, right? That's no fun. So I'm thinking there might be something here going on with this, because my encoder is telling me that you guys cannot hear the game. And if that's true, then I need to fix it. But if it's not true and I jack up the audio, then we're really going to have a problem. So, in-game audio cannot hear the game. Cool. Okay, you guys cannot hear the game. Then I need to do something about that, right? I mean, that's kind of a big deal. I have it set up properly. I did a whole bunch of pre-checks for that too. Of course. Okay, well, here's what I might do then. I'm going to add some source here. Let's do... how about we do, you know what, I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to say this and go, and it still doesn't work. Awesome, it still does not work. That's a shame. I was really hoping that this was going to not be a technical problems kind of thing, because we don't have time for that. Yeah. So let's try this. You guys are gonna hate it. You guys are really gonna hate me for it. But if it works and we get sound, then it's worth it, I think. So watch as KSP magically disappears from your screen. Oh no, I know. We're gonna reboot the game, and I'm hoping that if I reboot the game, my encoder will see it this time properly, and it will do what it needs to do. So sorry about that. I really did not want to start the stream that way. That is completely not what I intended, obviously. But this does give me a chance to address some comments. This stream does not have all of the mods we've been using for conquering Kerbal Space Program. It will have, in fact, you know what? I think I want to try and test this really quick. If I go, actually, if I go like this, levels, nope, that's not what I want. Okay, so that is a good test. So I'm thinking you guys should be able to hear that. Probably too loud. That was probably too loud for you. But, you know, if you heard the dee-dee-ding, dee-dee-ding, let me know. Because if you did, that means you should be able to hear the game now when it comes back on. Oh, man. The source of the audio is actually coming directly from the computer. Actually, the encoder is programmed to record everything that comes into these headphones. So, like, it's not taking audio directly from the game client. It's taking it from the headphones. But I don't know what, something got caught in the translation there, because like I was hearing the music just fine and it was not sharing it. So, there we go. You guys should be able to hear that now. You totally should be able to hear that now. Okay, so I need to get memgraph out of the way because that's an application that can be annoying to stay around. And let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna go to my stream save and we're gonna get this started. Gosh, I thought I had all the kinks worked out before starting. You guys have no idea. I've been sitting here like making things and like moving things around and, you know, making little pictures that move. I've been doing that like all day, and I got all my tech stuff and I'm like, this is it. This is how this is supposed to work. And I was so excited and pumped. And then YouTube was like, no, we don't want to start your event. You said 9 o'clock. That's not 8:30. And so I was just like, you stupid application. So I had to change the event time to 8:30, and then I had to manually start it, which I didn't know how to do, with like a button on the website rather than from my code. It was a mess. Anyway, okay, Spaceplane Hangar. Let's go. Now this is not Kerbal Space Program 1.2. We're on 1.13 because I have mods. Because we are using modded parts, we're not using every mod that I have in the Conquering Kerbal Space Program series, but we are using a significant number of mods. And we'll get to the contest thing at the end because really it's kind of anticlimactic anyway. If that tells you anything, I think if people who have been here in the chat for a while, you already know the answer to that. But yeah, I'm gonna bring this window up really quick so I can see the stream health. We got quite a few people here. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start out. I'm gonna create this idea I have in my head. It probably won't work right away, but I think I'm gonna get close. I haven't been able to like really do much. I've been doing the stream prep, so I'm hoping the idea is close, and then we can maybe tweak it a little bit because I'm not going to be very good at the SSTO. Just forewarning, I'm not going to be very good at it. So let's get started. First, I'm going to start with an MK3 command pod because the requirement is 15 Kerbals have to be on board the vessel. So not going to do a very good job. Now I got to get this wire out of my way. Not going to do a very good job like getting 15 Kerbals to Duna unless we're using MK3 or Mark III. Doing it in a Mark II just seems like that would be really difficult to do. And the core parts of my plane, I want them to be all stock, which is another thing I've never done. I have built 2 SSTOs in the Conquering Kerbal Space Program series on the channel. I have built 2 SSTOs, but they've all been mod parts. And they've kind of been utilized the way the developers of those mods intended them to be used. So they're not really my creations, I just sort of have them. So this one will be kind of a testament of maybe what I'm able to do with an SSTO, which is not much, just telling you. Okay, so Mark III command pod. Next is the cargo bay, or not cargo bay. Cargo bay. No. The crew cabin is what I'm looking for. Oh, there it is, passenger module. Big deal. All right, so I'm gonna start with that. Then I'm gonna do this big rocket tank. Let's do something like that. Then I want a cargo bay, and then I want a ramp in the back. Okay, so the challenge is take 15 Kerbals. I don't actually have 15 Kerbals in the save actually, because this is just a sandbox map. But I have capacity for 15, and you know what? That counts. Capacity for 15, that counts. So whatever. I mean, Kerbals don't weigh anything in the game's physics, so I'll bring these 4. We have clearly enough capacity for that many. There you go. Okay. So next we need also the other requirement is building a rover. And I actually haven't built the rover yet, but I think I know exactly what I want for the rover, and it's really, really, really small and really, really simple. So I'm not going to bother building that until I have the plane that flies, because I'm pretty sure this is the part that's going to be the hardest part of this whole thing. So please screw up on purpose. It's fun. I will. I'm going to screw up trying my best to make it work. And my phone is probably going to go off while I'm sitting here, so I'm just going to shut it off actually, because people love to text me and email me and message me and Steam chat me while I'm streaming, and I'm not into that. So, okay. The rover is going to fit in here, and basically I'm just going to land on the surface of Duna. Uh-oh. You guys probably heard that. I'm going to land on the surface of Duna, and just going to have the rover basically come down the ramp and onto the surface, and then challenge completed. Uh-oh. You guys can hear that, can't you? I can't imagine you can't hear it. All right. This is the life of a dad who tries to stream video games on the internet. It doesn't work that well. It just doesn't. There are things always in the way. Okay. So next, I think I want to focus on engines. Probably. I think engines might be a good place to go. So this is the part where up until now, you can see the whole craft is stock. There's nothing mod on this at all. The engines and I think the fuel tanks I'm going to use too, just because of the sound. Also heard unless you have your volume turned down, I'm thinking you probably heard my son crying in the other room because he just woke up. Okay, so anyway, let's do wings. Now, I'm not very good at procedural wings. I don't even know if I have it installed in this. I do. I'm not going to use procedural wings because I suck at it, and I haven't had any time to practice it since the last stream. So I'm not going to use them. I'm going to use what I'm familiar with, and that is the SH and SW wing parts. I could use stock wings. They're almost the same. I just like the look of the other ones better. That's just really the only reason I use them. So it's kind of all the same. We're working with Ferrum Aerospace Research. The total shape of our craft is really all that matters in terms of like wings and stuff. So let's see. How about we go... Actually, you know what? Before we put the wings on, let's take a look at... Should I do engines first? All right, let's just do the wings. I want to do the wings, and then I'll do the engines after the wings. I'm not sure what order you guys normally do things in, but I'm going to put a wing here, and then I'm going to kind of move over and do one there. That's probably not quite enough, so let's do one little, like a half one. Kind of like, maybe like that. That will probably be fine. And then I want to angle it out, so let's do something like this. So maybe like that. All right, that's a decent start, right? Not bad. Could maybe move it farther back, but I think the engines are gonna kind of take care of that for us, so that might be fine. Okay, because Charlie is the man. Well, thank you, I appreciate that. Yes, my refrigerator is working. It's ice buildup. Go figure. It's a design flaw in Samsung refrigerators. Apparently, like I'm gonna have to like put a blow dryer in it and thaw it out like every 6 months or something. I don't know. It's kind of, it's just nasty. I don't like it. All right, let's do this. Cool. And then I'll put this part down. That's probably fine. We'll do another one on this side like that. All right, so we're getting kind of a structure. This is a really big wing. I know, I admit, it is a really big wing. So, yeah, I obviously this is just a throwing this out there kind of design. So we'll see what happens. I think I'm gonna continue this little streak though. I feel like my plane could use a really big wing. Maybe not. And again, we'll adjust it if it doesn't work. But I'll get this initial design that's in my head out first, and then we'll go from there. Let's try this, and then we're gonna do this big one here. So see how it's kind of gradually getting narrower, gradually working its way out. It's a really, really big wing, but we're gonna go just a little bit. I think I probably should have cut in a little quicker. Should I cut in quicker than that? I don't know. We'll look at the center of lift and mass and all that stuff. But like, it really just kind of depends on once I get the wings done and stuff. So how about we just keep going the same what we're doing? We'll take a look at what it's like to have huge wings and see if that makes any difference. And if it doesn't, then we'll do something different with it. Oh, now my dog's gonna bark. This is gonna be a wonderful stream, guys. You guys are gonna be all full of noises in the background and dogs, and this is why I need my own office. I need my own little office studio that's closed off from the rest of the house. I need that like really bad. Like that's like the number one. If I had a Christmas list, that's what it would be. An office where I could work. Okay, actually, this is not the part I want. It's close though. The part I want, it has a wide. It's a tip. It's a wing tip. Like that. See how it's got the tip right here? It's pretty good. I'm really sorry, guys, about the baby crying in the background. I really am. If you can hear it, I'm really sorry about that. I should, if I wasn't so like, you know, if I wasn't streaming right now, I would be doing something about it. But my wife's got it. I'm pretty sure she's got it. If she doesn't, then I'll stop streaming and I'll go take care of it. Now my dog's gonna be an ass, so. Yeah, I'm gonna actually lower my volume and just build for a second, because I'm pretty sure my dog's gonna be an ass for about 30-40 seconds. Yeah, she's gonna be an ass for a while. I'm sorry. It's because somebody just came home for like late night out or whatever, so. Okay, I think the dog's done barking now. Sorry about that, guys. So, we have gas tanks here. I'm gonna kind of do, I think I'm gonna do 4 engines, and I'm using modded engines, so I have an idea of kind of the thrust that I'm gonna need and everything, so I think it's gonna be fine. I think I might actually need to do 2 of them, so maybe I'll do like another one on top here like this. You know what, let's actually just do 1 and then get it all done. And then I'll just copy the whole thing. So let's see. I need air intakes. So let's do, go here. And then I want to have, again, I'm using mod parts for it. So for those of you guys who are like purists and like don't use mods, this is not really the stream for you. I'm sorry, it's not. But I think the overall objective here is that engineers and people who run a space program would be able to come up with solutions that are not cookie cutter. So like, just if it makes you feel any better for the purposes of like, oh, he can't do it, or you know, I don't know how the mindset of a purist is. I'm obviously I'm a modder, so, but if it makes you feel any better, I would say there's consolation knowing that a real engineering team would be able to devise new and innovative parts for specific purposes. And look, mod parts, they can come up with those. Okay, so I'm gonna use the Sabre M intakes here. And I'm actually gonna wanna do it in symmetry mode. The Sabre M intakes are amazing. All right, and this is the part where mods goes, yeah, that's why you're using mods, I know. Sabre intakes are amazing. They have an 8.0 air intake, so tons of air coming through those. And then the engine, I think I wanna use, I haven't decided if I wanna use the broadsword or the cutlass. They're kind of the same. Broadsword has more thrust. Cutlass is a little more efficient. And I think the cutlass, honestly, I think the cutlass has enough thrust to make it worth doing it already. So, yeah. And FYI, for those of you who are like, normally I do engage with the comments. I engage with it all the time. But we're kind of running late as it is, and we are, yeah, we have a lot to do in that small amount of time. So I am going to be a little bit less involved in answering questions today than I normally am. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Because there's not a whole lot to do, or there is a whole lot to do. So let's take and, should I move these up? I feel like I should, just a little bit. Yeah, they need to be out of the way of the cargo bay door, which I don't think will be a problem. Yeah, that'd be fine. Because when this thing's open, I don't care if it's in front of the engine a little bit, because when this thing's open, then the engines won't be on, so it's fine. Okay, so I'm going to take that now, and I'm going to replicate that and put that here. No. Is that it? Is that how I wanted it? I think so. Yeah. I wanted it to be slightly up. The problem we're going to have here, I already know it right away. The problem we're going to have here is my center of thrust as it relates to the center of mass. As you can see, the center of thrust is a little bit below the center of mass. Now, that's not going to be too big of a problem when we're in the atmosphere, but that is a huge problem once we get into space and there's no air for us to like compensate with wings and control surfaces. So I'm a little bit worried about that, and we'll see if it becomes a problem when I'm done building this. We'll see if it becomes a problem. I think it will, but I don't know if it will or not. So, okay, so I'm gonna lower these engines just a tad so they don't clip. And actually, I probably should raise these engines up just to help with that center of thrust problem, or that thrust, whatever it's called. You know what I'm talking about. Should I have this engine go through the wing like that? I feel like that's not something I should do. I feel like these are really overkill wings too. There's really, really big wings. I think we have more wing than we need, honestly. I'm gonna leave it as it is for now. And again, I'm just gonna want to wing it later and just see what happens with this. So, and then we'll adjust it from there. So let's just bring this down like that. I think that looks better. Okay, so these four engines are it. There's no other engines on this. This is the design calls for these 4 engines. They're very, if you're a purist, for the purists out there, these are very, very similar to the Rapiers in the sense that they have 2 modes. There's an air breathing mode, and then there's one where it uses liquid fuel and oxidizer. Inside, what do we have for fuel here? Inside these tanks, we've got liquid fuel oxidizer, liquid fuel oxidizer, liquid fuel oxidizer, liquid fuel oxidizer. Okay, good. We are going to need some sort of a separate source for liquid fuel at some point, because like we have an air breathing mode, you know, and I kind of want to use some fuel from that. So let's continue, and we'll think about that later. All right, so I think these are clipping. I don't want them to clip. Oh, there's a comment for this. Yes, you're correct. I think they need to be spaced a bit more too. So let's do that. I'm just gonna space these out a little bit from the cockpit too, or just a little bit from the body of the plane too. Okay, fair enough. I think it's good for now. Let's look at, actually, let's get a tail fin. And then I'm gonna look at FAR once I have a tail fin and control surfaces. Ooh, yeah. Well, control surfaces are gonna have to start a little bit wider away from the plane. Let's do the control surfaces now, actually. I'm gonna grab these. All right, so I'm gonna put there, and then put another one there. Can I put one more? I think one more on the tip is actually a good idea, but let's use one that's not quite so huge for that. How about this? Does this work? I think it does. Should I put it here? Just put it there. Okay, so that'll give us some control. We'll make sure that this one goes to just pitch. I think I'm gonna do just pitch on this one too, because this, I mean, it really is just supposed to go in a straight line. And then, whoops, there's a -5 on that, I don't want that. And then this one's gonna be just roll. There we go. And then I want tail fins too, so I'm thinking, or a tail fin, a tail of some kind. You know what I'm talking, you guys know what I mean. I'm not gonna have the right word, but you guys know what I mean. I'm trying to find it, here it is. It is called a tail fin, ha, got it right. I'm gonna put 2. I'm a fan of this 2, this design with 2. I just am. But, well, I mean, we're probably gonna have, just looking at this, I'm gonna say we have hella side slip problems already. Actually, let's look at FAR. We have control surface and stuff. Let's take a look at FAR, see what FAR can tell us about this. Okay, it's actually not so bad. Not as bad as I thought it would be, but we do have side slip problems. Yeah. Okay. It's actually a pretty big side slip problem. How are we doing? Our downforce velocities aren't bad either. This is really big wingspan, so that might be helping us with lift. Yeah. Okay. Cool. See you, Michael. If you're saying bye because you're leaving, then bye. If you're not, then someone else is leaving, in which case, bye to you. Sorry. Okay, so, let's see. I need... FAR's looking pretty good, though. I'm actually pretty impressed by the fact that that shows that it's good already. But I'm still worried about this. This little bit, it doesn't look like a lot, but it is. It's going to be enough. I'm wondering if there's something I can do to lower the center of mass. I mean, I could lower the wings and stuff, but that also lowers the engines. If I lowered the wings and raised the engines, then I'd have like major clipping, and I don't like the way that looks. Some people can game it like that, but I don't like the way that looks. So, well, we don't have liquid fuel, so maybe we can do something on the bottom of the plane, add fuel to the bottom of the plane. That would add weight to the bottom, and then therefore maybe bring the center of mass down. Maybe. So, fuel tanks, what do I want to do here? I don't, these are super, oh, here we go. Ah, I like these. These are the HL fuselage extension nose. These are B9 aerospace parts, which are, so are the wings as well. And these are actually pretty slick because they kind of hug the surface they're on, you know, kind of like that. So if I put this underneath like this, let's maybe bring this back a little bit. If I put that like there, okay, all right, this might work. All right, let's hear me out here. If I take that and then I take these fuselage extensions and I bring this up to this, whoops, oh, let's get the camera pointed how I want. Here we go. Get this pointed up to like that. Okay, okay. I'm actually kind of liking how this is looking now. I'm gonna do that. And then, now this probably will mess up our flight with FAR though. I'm hoping it doesn't, but it might. Actually, let's stop at that one and then see what happens if I put that same sort of end piece like that. Ah, that actually looks pretty slick, I think. Huh? What do you think? It's pretty good, if it flies. We'll put liquid fuel in here. In the first two, is that enough? I think that's gonna be enough to get it to space. Once we're in space, we no longer need liquid fuel. Like, well, we do, but we can use the rocket tanks, is what I'm saying, the liquid fuel oxidizer. So I'm thinking that these back ones, from this point on, I'll just have be LFO. And we'll just have those front two there be the solid liquid fuel only. Because this thing, if I'm correct, and I might not be, but if I'm correct, this thing should get up easily, and it should also get up into space quickly. It shouldn't be dilly-dallying around. There's plenty of thrust here. Okay, so LFO is there. I think that pretty much takes care of the infrastructure for the plane. So what do you guys think? Looks pretty good, right? We just need wheels, obviously. So, well, actually, I need to do something with the front end, too. Actually, let's do this. We're going to put a nose tank on the front. And then I'm going to have it be liquid fuel only. Ooh, monopropellant. Oh, I didn't think of that. We need to do monopropellant, too. Liquid fuel only. We'll do, like, I don't know. Something... We'll just leave it black. It looks good. Yeah, that'd be fine. Alright, so are these things the same? They kind of have this curve down to them. Yeah. Is there a way to update a game without removing a save? I don't understand the question. Like, you want to update... You don't need to launch KSP from Steam. There's no DRM on KSP. You can. I'm currently playing it outside the Steam folder. In fact, those of you who have added me on Steam will likely notice that I'm not even logged in. My Steam client is completely off. So just go into your Steam folder, pull the KSP folder out of it, and you can launch it from outside the Steam folder. Then you don't have to worry about your saves and stuff getting messed up, and you can try out 1.2 while still keeping all your stuff in 1.1.3 perfectly safe. That's what I was doing. So okay, so we need wheels, and I think that's pretty much it. We're ready for a test flight once we have wheels. Take a look at Delta V. Not as high as I would have liked, actually. I wonder if there's anything I can do about that. Delta V stats are a little low, at least if we're going to go to Duna. If we're going to go to orbit, then it's no big deal. But if we're going to Duna, that's a little low. And I mean, you're looking at it going 8,000. That's taking into account the fact that we can fly, like in the atmosphere for a while too. So that's once we get the rocket engines on, that 8,000 is going to drop to like 2,500. And then we're going to have to get into orbit, which is like another 1,000, maybe 1,500. So it's going to be tight, but we'll see what happens on the test flight, if we can even fly it. I have to check FAR since I added those tanks, so let's do that. Yeah, we have a little bit of downforce now. It's really small. It's so small. I'm going to let that pass, just because it's so small. I mean, we're talking like 0.000 whatever. So I'm going to let that pass and just hope that my piloting skills can help that along a little bit. Okay. Or lack of piloting skills. I'm actually a decent pilot with planes, usually, but with FAR installed, I'm not. I think that's pretty much the way it is for everyone who plays KSP. If you use Fairmont Aerospace Research, that's what's going to happen. For those of you who are just joining us, welcome to the stream. We're building a space plane that is going to carry 15 Kerbals to Duna, as well as a rover. That's the whole goal, is an SSTO that can do that. And this is what we've come up with so far. The initial design, if you will, is what we come up with so far. So, let's continue. I want to get big landing gear, and I'm gonna put that on the front, like here. Okay, that's good. And then I need it on the back too. I'm just worried about the size of the landing gear. It's gonna be it's gonna be too big. Yeah, see, it goes down too far. You want your landing gear, at the very lowest, you want it to be level with the front wheels. I like it to actually be a little higher than the front wheels so that the plane sort of sits with its nose slightly angled upwards. That's how I like mine. So I think I'm gonna have to ditch the idea of having these big ones. The only problem with that is I'm not sure if these large ones, the next size down, I'm not sure if those can withstand the weight of this plane. I don't think they will. I think they'll buckle. So maybe we do 2. That's an idea, right? 2 sets. We gotta move them back. Too far forward. Let's move them back like this. Like maybe like that. Oh, I have a mod called Hangar Grid that will let me sort of analyze everything to see whether or not it's lined up with the grid, which is awesome. So, and with one click, I can also line up wheels, which is pretty nice. So, or one hotkey, I should say. So if my wheel, for example, like let's say I go like this with my wheel. Let's just move it like I don't want to do snapping because then it's obvious. So let's turn snapping off, and then like let's say my wheel looks like that. Like it'd be like a real pain in the ass to have to sit here and just meticulously do this until I think it's right. Especially if you don't have a grid, you're not going to really know what you're doing. So hanger grid, if I'm in the rotation tool, I could just hit J or N on the keyboard. In this case, it's J because it's this direction. N would be the other way. And bam, it just snaps itself in place. So it's going to face extremely, like face straight forward. And that's pretty good. I like hanger grid for that. I think with this many wheels on the back, we should be good. I think those lined up right with the center of mass. Now, will it be the same, or will it be lined up right in the center of mass when we land? No idea. But when we land, we will have lots of parachutes because we're going to Duna. So let's get some parachutes on this. I'm going to have... Oh, I thought there was another set of drow chutes. Yeah, where are the big ones at? There's supposed to be bigger ones. Can I turn these ones into it? No. Weird. There used to be two sets, like these ones here, right? There's this one, and then there's this one, and then there's like this one, and then there's this one, right? This one has two sets. These ones, this one here has two sets. This drogue chute used to have two sets. I was like just playing with two sets like yesterday when I recorded episode 77, which, by the way, I'm sorry, will not be available tomorrow. I thought I could do it. I just can't edit it in time. Look for it Sunday. All right. Maybe I can get it done, edited tomorrow, and have it upload Sunday. I was just messing with that though. Weird. Okay. Anyway. We do need parachutes. I was kind of hoping not to have to use that many parts to do it, but we do need it. So let's crank out some drogue chutes here. Gonna want snapping here too. I'm gonna put them on the back just so all the drag is in the back. That's gonna hopefully let the plane stay oriented the proper direction. I don't know how many we need. I feel like Duna's... I mean, I've never... Hey, you guys, guess what? Like, no joke. Remember how for those of you who've been following the Conquering Kerbal Space Program series, you may have recalled that I told you kind of what my experience has been in KSP so far, and that I've been to Duna, but I've never landed on Duna. I've only like orbited it before, right? Like that's the only planet I've been to, but I've never actually landed on the surface. So if we pull this off and this plane lands on the surface with a rover, it will be my first time ever on the surface of Duna. So it will be my first time ever on a surface of a body outside the Kerbin solar system, or the Kerbin sphere of influence. So, no pressure. All right, so I think this is good for a test. Let me check really quick. Oh, before we get, it's not good for a test yet because inside the cargo bay, I want to have a few things for the purposes of weight. And I'm actually gonna open this door so I can look inside. Okay, so for the purposes of weight and testing this, since I don't have a rover yet, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some weight in here that's I think is gonna be close to the weight of the rover I'm gonna build. I don't know what it is, but I'm just gonna check because it's gonna be a very small, very simple rover. It's not gonna be anything special, so because there's no point in building some extravagant rover for this challenge, especially if it's gonna weigh more. So I'm looking for the probe body for rovers. There it is. It weighs 0.15 tons. Okay. I think it's safe to assume that if I put 1 ton in this cargo bay, that will hold our rover nicely. So I'm gonna take, I gotta zoom out so it doesn't, I wish these windows would not overlap like that. Like if I do this, I see MK3 cargo ramp right over top of the part name. I really wish it wouldn't do that. Like I wish Squad would get on that because that's really bad. I have to zoom away from the parts every time I wanna look at them. This one is about 1 ton. MK1 command pod is about 1 ton. So I will just simply put the MK1 command pod right there. That will represent the weight of our rover. Okay. Now I need batteries, and actually I'm gonna need monopropellant too. So why don't I do this? Let's take this out. Do I want to put monopropellant back here? Yeah, I kind of do. Where is the mono tanks? Do I have the mod installed or no? I might not have the mod I'm looking for installed. I don't have every mod from my series installed here. I wanted to make sure that everything was really quick and nice frame rates and everything. So I kind of stripped down the game a lot to what I have from Conquering, the Conquering series. Kind of stripped it down a little bit so I don't have quite as many mods. And for those of you who have not been following the series, you're going, you have more mods than this? Yes, I have more. My Conquering Kerbal Space Program series, that's a nifty skin. Venstock revamp. I probably should have removed Venstock revamp too if I wanted to do that, but whatever. Conquering Kerbal Space Program series on YouTube, on this channel. There's 76 episodes live. 77's coming, again, like I said, hopefully I can get it to you Sunday. If not, definitely Monday. And there are 129 mods in that game. Very nice. And stable now. It wasn't stable before, but it's stable now. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put batteries in here because it needs power. And that's why the cargo bay is here. Cargo bay is for storing things. Duh. What do we want? I don't think I need a whole lot of power because I'm going to have solar panels too. So maybe, you know what? Let's just do this. This is the simplest way to do it. If it fits. I'm not actually sure it fits. It does fit perfectly, actually. Boom. Done. Simple. Keep it simple. Next is we have monopropellant here. That's 750. Good. We've got 4K battery charge. Good. We have the weight representing our rover. That's good. Is there anything else I need to put in here? I don't think so. So let's close that up. Now we need our reaction control system. So let's get... I'm just going to grab a bunch of these little ones here. Wait a minute. Hold on. What's the difference between these two? Like, I get that one. They both have a thrust power of 1. They both have 100 and 260 ISP. They both use the exact same amount of monopropellant per second. And they both have the same modes. But one of them costs more. And has a different skin. It looks like 2 nozzles. Like, I guess it's like the looks, but I don't know. I don't know. How's the stream, guys? Is the stream healthy? YouTube's telling me it's bad again. Nothing I can do about it. I really wish there was. I just can't. All right, I'm gonna try and space these out. It's gonna be kind of difficult to space these out from center of mass for sake, but I'm gonna try and do that. So let's do, we'll do one here at the very end. We'll do one kind of, I don't want to put it on the window, but it's kind of where it lines up. Let's do it there. Yep, that'll be there. Then I'm gonna do another one. I think I'm gonna do a couple on the top too. So let's do one here, and then do another one over here in the back of the tail. That's about the right distance, I think. Close enough. That hopefully will help us. And then I'm gonna put another one that I can shut on and off. I like to put always one on the very front of the craft that I can shut on and off if I need to. Because let's say I want to rotate, I want to get myself oriented in a rotation, then having that authority on the very tip of the craft helps with that rotation. But if I'm trying to dock to something, I want to move just like laterally, then that front one will induce rotation that I don't want, so I can shut it off. So I like to do that sometimes. And I'm gonna use, honestly, there's no difference between these two. This one has less thrust power and uses less monopropellant per second, but still somehow miraculously has the same ISP because it has less thrust. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll just do that. So I'll put another one right here, and I'm gonna shield that one because it's gonna be on the front where all the heat is. Speaking on the front where all the heat is, we don't have any canards. Do we not need a canard with this craft? Oh, what happened to our ratings? Well, we added a bunch of weight, that's what happened. Oh, maybe we can correct that with canards. Okay, let's try that. Actually, I'm not gonna use a canard because it's too small. Well, maybe it's not. Let's try. Not a basic one. I want an advanced one. I don't think there's any difference between them, honestly. But with FAR, there actually might be. Stock has the same stats, but I think with FAR, it would be different. Because it's sort of like modulating our plane, or like merging my plane all together as one craft, and then calculating the aerodynamics based on the whole craft design rather than by parts. So I'm kind of thinking that it might be better to use a stabilizer. So I think I'm going to choose, like, maybe not this one, this stabilizer. Yeah, I'm going to put these stabilizers up here. Let's kind of do it like that. Not quite. Try again. Not on the window. I want to put it here and then move it. So how about there, and then we'll move it like this way. Ooh, well, that's clearly not going to work. Let's try to maybe suck it in a little bit here. There we go. We'll zoom it out a bit. I don't want to block the door, though. Kerbal has to get out to plant the flag. That's part of the challenge. Prove the Kerbals are alive on the surface. Only one way to do that. Plant a flag. Let's move it down here like that. That'll work. Alright, so what does that do, FAR? Ooh, it basically fixed it. Basically. This is so small. 0.00... Well, it's 0.009. I guess it's not that small, but I mean, I can probably tweak this a little bit. Let's see. If I can get this canard... It's not really a canard, but if I can get this to... Oh, camera. I wish I could resize the FAR interface, this FAR window. I really wish I could resize that. Okay, I'm gonna kind of look at the comments really quick, just because I have been ignoring you. Not completely. I have been glancing, but I haven't been addressing your comments. So I like to interact with you. I don't want to just be this guy playing and you're watching. So give me a couple of seconds here. I'm not going to be able to go all the way back, so I'm going to miss a lot of comments. But I will go back and read them all up when the stream's done, so it's fine. You saw the Falcon 9 live. That's cool. No questions yet, so that's good. That way I don't have to answer them. Just kidding. Stream's good in California. Good. Still shows bad on my end. Definitely shows bad on my end. Sorry. Okay, how about we just kind of... I'm going to try this. I don't know if this will fix it, but I'm just going to pitch this up just a little bit, right? Just kind of... Just a little hair. Oop, that did actually do something. Hold on. Let's pitch it up a little bit more. You know what? 0.006 now. Good enough for me. I do have to deal with the side slip, though. That side slip is massive. Should we test this anyway? Do you want to test it? Just to see what it does. It's going to have side slip right now. I know that, but I kind of want to test it out. Let's make sure the wheels aren't really stupid like they clearly are. What is going on with the wheels? They're at different levels. I can't have that. Is it because the tanks are at different levels? Yes, that would be the reason. Okay, how about we take this wheel, turn our grid back on so I can see what I'm doing here. Looks like that wheel's done. Just gonna move it up a little bit. Like that. Looks close. Not quite. I need it to hold the weight of the whole plane. Like, I need the whole plane to be on all 5 wheels. Technically, it's 10 wheels. No, it's more than that because these... Yeah, it's a lot more than 10 wheels, but you get what I'm saying. The 5 contact points, I need it to be on all 5. So let's just do this. How many hours playing KSP? Are you asking me or are you asking someone else? My hours in my Steam are not accurate because the vast majority of my time playing KSP is outside the Steam folder, and there's no way to calculate your time when you're playing outside the Steam folder. But if I had to guess, I'd say I have now, after recording 76 episodes of Conquering Kerbal Space Program, I'd say I probably have 76 hours of... Not 76 hours, it's 76 episodes. It's probably closer to 40 hours. I would say I have maybe at least 200 doing this series, and then there's already 331 in my Steam client, so I'd say I have a little over 500 hours in the game. I'd say, if I had to guess. I'm going to do something really quick to address the side slip. Just before we go, I'm going to put a little something something on the end of these wings. Maybe this? I think it's this one. Yeah. It's going to put a little something something here on the end of this wing. Like that. Doesn't really quite... maybe I can get it to come down a little bit. And then move it over to where it's level. It's got to be all the way over there. Whatever. I'm going to leave it there like that. So maybe that will help with the side slip a little bit. Let's see if that changes the stat any. Currently it's at 2.86. Wow. Yeah, it's at 2.86. It needs to be negative. So now it's at 2.68. Did it really just swap like that? I don't know. It is definitely lower, but it didn't do much. Maybe I need a big, big wing in the back. You know what? I just want to test it the way it is right now. So let's call this. What do you want to call it? What are we naming this? You know what? I'm gonna pick a random person in the comments, and I'm gonna name this plane after them. So when it burns, we can blame them for their name. That's why. I don't know. A random name. I don't know. Tell you what, I'll actually leave it up to you guys. The first person to say, pick me, in the comments, that's the one I'm gonna pick. There, it won't be so random now. First person that says, pick me, that's the name that the plane's gonna get. And I know I have to wait a long time to hear it because of the delay, but that's fine. I'm gonna actually, while I'm waiting for you to say that, I'm going to adjust the back of the plane. So, how about we go, oh, there it is. We have it. Tyler Latarte. Latarte? Latarte? I think it's Latarte. I don't know. That's the name. This is the Latarte. Yep. The MK1. MK1. The Latarte MK1. I don't know how you actually say your name, so if I'm messing it up, I'm sorry. Okay, so that's what this is now. And I think the wheels are slightly higher than the front. That's good. Is it too much higher than the front? Whoops. Right where it clips. There we go. It's a little low, but I'm gonna leave it. Like I said, I'm gonna leave it. All right, I want a really big tail fin in the back, and then we're gonna launch this thing and see what happens. So let's do. Is this one better? I think it's better to use this. Just one of them though. If I use this big thing like this, put you like there. Wow, that's huge. That's gotta take care of the side slip, doesn't it? It made it worse. What? Wow. I mean, wow. I can't imagine that makes it worse. Side slip, I mean, okay, well, let's go back to the wings then. Maybe it's because of the surface, its ability to control. Maybe it's just a part classification. What about this one? Actually, I really want to resize that window. This is the tail fin for the aeroplane. Aeroplane tail fin. If I put that here, does that solve it? Actually, that will solve it, but the other one doesn't. But now we have down. Now we have down velocity on. Now we have massive down velocity. Why? Let's put these further back. Didn't do anything. Wow, that's a really quick shift. It's so hard to balance things with FAR sometimes. Like I don't fully understand like how these numbers work. I have a rough idea, but I don't fully understand it. And because I don't fully understand it, I get into problems sometimes like this, where numbers will shift around and I won't really fully know why they've shifted. That happens all the time. Like, look, I put the other ones on, right? Like, watch this. This is what I'm talking about. If I put these tail fins right here, same position, right here, I get massive down. right? Like massive down velocity, but absolutely no side slip. Okay, which means my nose is gonna start dropping. I have no idea why that would do that, but I have no side slip now. We're good. Take this off, put the other one there. Exact same spot, same functionality, same part functionality. And now, all of a sudden, I have side slip problems, but my Z direction is fine. I don't understand that. If I go a little faster on the runway, say I go a little faster to take off, that's gonna fix the down velocity. So if I go really fast, this will be fine. I still have side slip. It's not as bad as before, but I'm gonna let it go. So let's give this thing a test flight and see what happens. We're gonna save it, and we'll launch it. Let's just see what happens with it. I never trust far. Well, you can't win them all. I mean, sometimes it is what it is. Okay, frame rate's looking good. Removing some of those mods is a good idea sometimes. Here's our plane, and I'm just gonna ramp this up. And look at that, our parachutes are on the same stage as the engines. Ah, didn't mess it up though, guys. You thought I was gonna mess that up, but I did not mess it up. See? Don't you feel good about me now? Feel a little bit better about, a little more confident that I can do this? I don't know, maybe not. Probably not. Now that we are on the runway and we're working with the craft, also let me know about the mix in the audio, whether or not the plane is too loud. I need to know that so I can adjust the audio, because I don't hear it how you do. I hear it at my own volume that I want to hear it at. So, okay, I don't actually have any struts on this, which might have been a good idea, but we're gonna let it go where it is. Getting our speed up, looking good so far, and probably gonna have to pinch the runway a little bit. Oh, we're gonna lift up before the end of the runway. That's good. Okay. Pick the wheels up, and up we go. Steady so far. I'm expecting side slip around 10K. I'm actually expecting side slip any time now, but around 10K makes more sense to me, judging by the readings. A little bit thinner atmosphere, which should probably take care of it, but I'm not sure these little things on the ends of the wings are really helping much. But, you know, it is whatever. Space Cam is covering the staging. Oh, that's right. Face Cam is covering the staging. Hang on. Let me fix that for you. Because I think the staging is an important factor, and you guys probably don't necessarily need to see me quite so big, and you also don't necessarily need to see the pilots and stuff either. So the staging and stuff is probably a more important statistic for you guys to see, or more important information for you guys to see. So I will move myself over here. I will hang out with Jebediah, Bill, and Bob. And we are climbing pretty steadily. I'm not getting a whole lot of speed, but you know, it is what it is. I'm pretty sure these 4 engines alone can handle what I need them to handle. So we're getting a little bit of side slip now. Yeah, there's the 10K. A little bit. I'm getting a little bit off track, but I can probably fix that. I think I can get it under control. Oh, I didn't set these to be only yaw. Not that that is a super big problem, but I mean, it kind of is. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I left Chatterer installed. I thought I'd remove that. Okay, cool. Looking good so far. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so we're getting speed. Everything's pretty steady. The one thing I'm concerned about still is the center of thrust. Center of thrust. Our thrust vector, right? Where our thrust is pushing. You know what I mean. Again, I'm gonna butcher words, I swear. As long as you get the concepts, I feel like my communication is somewhat successful. There's the side slip. It's pretty big now. It's definitely hitting me. I'm gonna try and fix it. I'm expecting us to essentially have my nose, because our thrust is under our center of mass, I'm expecting my nose to go like whoop and flip us upside down probably. But if it doesn't, I'm gonna be very, very happy. If we get this right the first try, like how boss is that? First try? Come on. This is a completely different plane design. I was playing around with one earlier, and this is a different one. And like I just kind of winged this one, and That would be impressive to me. Okay, so we're starting to run a little bit low on air, but we're still on our air-breathing engines despite our altitude. I'm actually going to lock the center tank so that we keep the fuel in there as long as possible. So center of mass doesn't shift too far out of the way. And now I think we should probably switch anytime now, engines. They're going to do it automatically. I should, when we go to Duna, when we actually go to Duna, I'm going to have these action grouped because I would have switched already. This thing waits as long as it possibly can. I would have switched it already. Because right now, like, we're not climbing anymore. Like, I would have switched it before we stopped climbing. So let's just tilt our head up. Come on, I need more thrust. I need more thrust to pick our nose up. Come on. Come on. Ugh, I really wanted to switch, but I can't get up high enough for it to switch. Yeah, our apoapsis is actually dropping now, so let's get some more speed. I don't want to switch it manually because that's like a recipe for a real bad disaster. We're just too high. I need more speed to get the lift. And we're starting to fall. So hold on, maybe I can just, if I go level, maybe I'll get enough speed. If I just keep it level. We're getting a little bit of heat too. And a little bit of side slip, a little bit of heat. Not enough lift. But with more speed, I might be able to get it. Let's see. There's the speed. Let's pick it up. Come on. Come on, give me the lift. Oh, come on. Yeah, okay. Tell you what, I'm pretty sure this will be fine. I just really want to see those engines kick on their rocket mode. So I'm gonna probably crash by doing this, but essentially what I'm gonna try and do is I'm just gonna do my mouse and manually switch them. But that means that they're going to be, I'm gonna have to shut the engines off. I'll just do that instead of risking, I'm just gonna shut the engines off instead. So let's get this kind of pointing straight, and then let's kill the throttle. Come on, shut off. Shut off. We'll toggle the mode there. We'll toggle the mode here. Whoops, toggle the mode here. Toggle the mode here. Oh, yep, that's why I didn't want to do it manually. And then up we go. Okay. We have rockets now. Should be able to get the thrust we need. Oh my gosh. Alright, here we go. Up we go. Should be able to climb now. Now the real question is, when we get out of the atmosphere, essentially when we get to like, I want to say like 40 or 50K, at that altitude, our wings are basically pointless. And I think at that altitude, my ability to correct us going backwards is probably not going to happen, so, but we'll see. I can also see that our delta V numbers are a little bit low, which is now good. I need to do something else about that. Oh, you know why it's low? Because I have this tank forbidden. I bet if I turn this tank on, our delta V numbers go way up. Oh, yeah, our nose is starting to get picked up. Oh. I'm actually pushing down right now. I'm actually trying to tip the nose down right now because we're actually, yeah, I can't control it. If I release this, what happens is that. Yeah. So that's the problem, is our center of, our thrust is pushing slightly lower than the center of mass. And when you do that, well, yeah, that happens. If I was slightly above the center of mass, it would push my nose down. When I'm slightly below the center of mass, it lifts my nose up. But other than that, I think that's a fairly stable plane in the atmosphere. We do need it. I do need to do some correcting on that in that regard to get it into space. That's going to be the challenge. So that's my initial idea for a design, guys. That's what's in my head, and now we can look on working on how to fix it. Because you know, this is like, you know, this is how it works in KSP. You just kind of try something, and then you see if it works, and if it doesn't, you try something else, and you just kind of tweak things until it works. So here's our far window. You ever noticed that this far button moves? Oh, no you don't, because now my Now my camera's blocking the staging over here. That's okay. I'm not going to move my camera again. We're going to leave it here. So far is going to tell me what I need to do. What I really need is to know whether or not at 50K, if I'm traveling like Mach 3 or something. I don't really know what 1,000 kilometers per second, or wow, that would be fast. 1,000 meters per second. I don't really know like how fast that is, like in terms of Mach in this game. But I mean, we do have some problems if I'm traveling that fast. If I'm going 4, yeah, so it doesn't really matter how fast I'm going. At 50 kilometers, we're screwed, essentially, is what this is telling us. So I'm thinking it's got something to do, well, I'm pretty sure it's got something to do with that. If you take a look at this is slightly too low, right? It's just too low. It's pointing just underneath this. I need to raise this up while keeping the center of mass where it is. That's the challenge, because if I move the rockets up, it also moves the center of mass up. But at a certain point, these are going to get closer to the main body, and so at a certain point, the thrust will move up at a faster rate than the mass will. So, yeah, let's take a look at the comments really quick. See if you guys have any ideas on how I can make this work. Okay, so Michael says RCS would do it. I don't think it would. And well, I don't know if he's actually said it. I think he just sort of, said that I should try to use it. But I don't think it would, only because these little thrusters, they do so little thrust that the amount of power coming out of these back engines, it's just going to overpower whatever effect those thrusters have. And it's not going to work that way. Let's take a look here. Anybody have any ideas? I have to wait so long to hear comments. I don't like this. I hope the stream is good for you guys. I really hope that the health of the stream is not too bad. It does look like, from my statistics, that a large number of you are watching it in 720p, so that's good. At least you have that. This will be available on the YouTube channel when it is completed. The stream, I mean, not the plane. When the plane's completed, I might upload it as a craft file, but I'm not even entirely sure we'll get the plane completed in the stream. I really want to go to Duna, but like I need to get the plane done. So let's take and try and move these up just a tad. If I move these up a little bit. Ooh. Now that needs to go up a little bit more. See how the center of mass moves up with it? Because the engines and everything. But eventually the engines and the tanks and stuff will get in line with the rest of the body, and then it won't really move as much. Now, one other idea I could try, and this might be smarter than moving the engines up like this, although it doesn't look, I mean, it looks kind of stupid. I don't like the way it looks, but if it works, then it works. Let's see. People asking me questions that are not related to the stream. People talking about cardboard cutouts with puns on them, penis shapes. Okay, cool. Like, this comments stream is going a completely different direction than I thought it would be by now. Okay. All right. Anyway, so I am human. I definitely am human. Or I missed the opportunity. I really did. If you've ever seen the movie The Fifth Element, that's one of my guilty pleasures, that movie. Negative, I'm a meat popsicle. Anyway, I think I want to try it. I don't like how this is, like it's sticking out through the wings, but now the center of thrust is actually somewhat in line with it. It says move one engine to the end of the wing. Now why would that help me? I don't know why that would help me. I don't know why that would help me. Let's see. I mean, if I did, okay. I don't know why it would help me, but I guess it's worth a shot. There's nothing wrong with it. So let's just take this and I I can't move it like that. So I really don't want to get it away from... I actually kind of dig that separation, to be honest. But I'm not digging... This is actually fairly corrected now, is it? Hey, that looks pretty good. That's fairly close now. Isn't it? Am I seeing things? I feel like I'm seeing things. This doesn't look... You know what? Hanger grid. Alright, so hanger grids should help me out here. Of course, I can't see the grid lines through the craft, obviously. Okay, well, it won't help me out as much as I thought it would, but it does look like I'm still a little low. So if I move these up anymore, I gotta imagine that's gonna mess with FAR. It has to. It's gotta mess with FAR. Actually, this engine needs to go closer because it's actually attached to this engine, not the wing, which might be a mistake, but FAR doesn't care. That's so close now. It's still a little... I just can't tell if it's... I just can't tell how off it is. Like, I want to say that is like... I want to say that that's on. I wish I could tell. Well, I can tell, actually, because... Shouldn't Kerbal Engineer tell me torque? Like, isn't that what this is? Right? Torque on the vessel. So if I move this... If I move this down... Yeah, it puts more torque. So I should move this up until I have no torque. That's actually a really small amount of torque. It's very small. How about we take the snapping off and just see how far up I'd have to go with these things before it has torque on it. Before it doesn't have any torque on it. Oh. Pretty close. Oh, come on. I mean, 8 kilonewtons is nothing. I can handle that. So this is where FAR is telling me my engines need to be placed. Now if I move them back a little bit. I like the way they look in the back, but I hate the way they look in the front. I guess I'm gonna have to live with the way they look though. As long as they don't damage the plane when they fire. I need to check FAR now because I moved a whole bunch of stuff around. Yeah, I have some downforce now. Some big time downforce now. This is the problem with trying to use FAR, honestly. FAR is annoying sometimes. I think normally if this was a video I was recording for my series, normally this is about the time where I would say, let me figure this out and I'll come right back. But hey, live video. All right, let's see if any of you guys have any ideas. Don't listen to us. We have no idea how to help you. Oh, that's not very encouraging. I would really hope that you'd have some idea how to help me. Let's see. That would be my wife in the background. Yep. She's doing something for the dog, I think. Let's see, who puts engine out of the way? What's the next challenge? I don't know the next challenge yet. I have to figure out this one first. Alright, so when your center of mass moves up, after you burn the fuel, center of thrust stays the same. I know that. Center of thrust stays the same. Which, up until now, that center of thrust staying the same was essentially... Oh, I think what you're saying is that as my fuel burns, this is going to move. So if I move this down... Okay, so I'm going to have... If I take fuel out of... I think I see where he's going with that. If I take fuel out of this tank... Watch the torque, right? If I take fuel out of this tank, the torque goes up because the center of mass will shift back and then my thrust is no longer pointing at it anymore because it's moved. So what about if I take the fuel out of this? If I remove fuel from these tanks on the outside first, it still does it. So I need to find a way. Honestly, the only way to do it is to have these engines perfectly aligned. And there's just not a way to do that reliably. So as I lose fuel, I'm going to have more and more... As I lose fuel, I'm going to have more and more problems with that. If I didn't need this cargo bay, I would just put a big ass engine on the back, but I need the cargo bay for the rover. I don't necessarily need the ramp, but I want the ramp. That's the thing. I was like, I wanted this design to work with the ramp, you know? Let's see. You're praying to God that I don't see your comment. Well, now I have to look for it. I don't know. I'm gonna read comments after the stream's done anyway, so I read like every comment that comes in. At least until I start getting more than I can handle. Let's see. Okay. So, yeah. So I don't want the torque to go up. I want it to be 0. But I can't do that. Well, maybe if I move this engine down. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's undo that. If I move this engine down so that it's level with this one. Okay. And then I move them both up. So this is telling me that I've got torque on the vessel now. But I feel like I'm closer to the center of mass at this point. So as the center of mass moves back though, so how about I take the fuel, like drop it halfway, and then try to get no torque at this point. So if I take this engine again and I move this up now. There we go. So that would take care of that. Now if I put the fuel back in this tank, I have torque again, but I do want a little bit of torque, to be honest. I want some torque from that mechanic, because that torque is actually allowing me to get lift in the atmosphere. But I don't want it out of the atmosphere. So it'd be nice not to have it at all. How is far like this? It looks terrible, but if it works, it works. So how does far like this? It doesn't. That is huge. Change in pitch up angular acceleration with respect to z direction velocity should be negative, and it is 4 point something. It is very, very positive. And I have no idea how to fix it because I don't fully understand it. Like I said, I don't fully understand it. I just know that changing this isn't going to do anything. I'm just moving it up because I want to. But not sure how to solve that. Put an engine on top of the bay. Well, move the engines to the end of the wing where center of mass moves back. Your engines are already in the back, so center of thrust stays the same. So you're telling me to start with a... If I do that though, my center of mass is going to shift back, which is going to put my center of lift in front of it, because like it's right behind it as is. Trial and error is right, and that's what you have to do. And this stream unfortunately doesn't involve a whole lot of flying now. I was kind of hoping we would be maybe whipping up a rover right about now, but it's trial and error, man. That's kind of what this is. How about we... All right, what about this? This is kind of a weird thing, but maybe it's trial and error, right? What about this? If I take this down, all right, move this kind of somewhere closer to where it was before. That's going to shift the center of mass down as well as the center of thrust. But if I angle these engines up a little bit, just a little, right? Does that do anything for me? If I make them fire at an angle slightly upward, wouldn't that point my center of lift, or center of thrust, I mean, wouldn't that point the center of thrust higher, right? Without necessarily moving the center of mass. And then, as those tanks drain, it'll actually move my center of mass down with it, which is kind of what I wanted to do anyway. I feel like that's an option. However, These things are apparently crooked. Not exactly favorable. Oh, why are they crooked? It's just the way it is. Okay, well. In order to do that then, I would have to... How about we do this? Just a little bit, like that, you know? Now, that moves center of thrust, right? That moves the thrust. It's now at an angle. It's pointing upwards, right? But that probably screws with FAR so bad. FAR does not like that. It actually didn't make a... I mean, it made some difference here. Oh, you know what? I'm at... Silly me. I'm at 50K and 1 Mach. What am I doing? My settings aren't even right to read this. Let's go down to 10 and 1. 10 and 1 actually works out nice. Look at that. Okay, hey, maybe that's what we needed to do. If I angle them up. Okay. If I take 1 kilometer, if I'm 1 kilometer off the ground, traveling 0.6, let's say, still stable. Okay. How about 0.5? All right, I think we got it, guys. I think this is our craft. Like, just a little shift. I'm not gonna touch it. Save. Don't crash. Don't you crash, KSP. According to FAR, if I leave this exactly the way it is, we shouldn't have any problems. Wait, until 50K, right? If I get to 50K, and I'm only traveling Mach 3, you know what? This is so minor. We might have this. That's a really, really small number. I'm gonna be really happy if that's all the case, man. Yeah, you know what? I think Victor's onto something in the comments. I think he's onto something. You should all listen to Victor. Everyone, stop what you're doing, read the comments, and listen to Victor. He has wisdom, except for the coffee line. I actually don't drink coffee. If that comment was directed at me, I don't drink coffee. I've never had a cup of coffee before in my life, and that's gonna make a whole bunch of people either they won't believe me or they'll be upset. It's true. I used to work at my first job was at McDonald's, and I was 16. My first job was at McDonald's, and I would make the coffee in the morning, and I would work the morning shift a lot, and the weekends. Ooh, wheels. The stress is real. The stress is a real thing, but it doesn't appear as though crashing is a real thing, so I have so many wires around me. Anyway, so I smelled the coffee in the morning when I would make it, and I hated the way it smelled so much that I just never bothered to try it, and I just don't like the way coffee smells. So, according to FAR, this plane is perfect. Like I just read a whole bunch of things, so fingers crossed. Let's test out what FAR thinks is perfect. I really don't like the part clipping. Like, I really don't like how the wings are doing this, but I mean, if it flies, I'm willing to live with it, you know? We are squirrely as hell, though. Yep. Wow. Okay. Well, that didn't work the way I needed it to. That looked like a wheel failure to me. That looked like the wheels buckled. Like they can't handle the weight. So maybe we move them. Actually, look at that. No, the wheels are at... Oh, okay, the wheels aren't... That's why. The wheels are not level. Okay. Well, that explains that. Let's move... Yeah, let's move this up. Now that is going to bring these wheels really high, actually. I think I actually kind of want to bring both of them down instead. So let's bring down like this and down like this. And actually, they're on an angle. The wheels are all on an angle, too. So we'll get our handy dandy... Oh, look at that. Yeah, they're big angles. Get our handy tool out here and straighten them out. Perfect. The front one, just because. Okay, now I just need them at the right height. Maybe we'll move these ones up. Is that the right height? Only one way to find out. So I like to get one where it's just barely not in the pavement, and then I can go and see if any of the other ones are in it. So looks like, whoops, I need to unclick, dumbass. Here we go. Right there. Okay. Now, is that an angle again? I need to reset these wheels because they are not lined up the way they need to be. Oh, and I'm really low to the ground now. Now I can't. Oh dear. Wow, what is happening here? This doesn't look straight to me. It just looks like that's on a hella angle. Does that look like that to anyone else? It just looks like it's in a terrible angle. Angle snapping is a good, useful tool as well. However, if it's in front of my center of mass now, it's a little too close, actually. I'm going to move it a little bit further away. Let's move it back to about... Let's do about there. That might be too close for landing. A little bit back. Okay, and then we'll do this part. Is everyone listening to Victor? Is everyone listening to Victor? He's a very smart man in the comments down there. Alright, so I really want to get this to rotate. I just don't feel like that's straight. It's definitely crooked. Weird that Angle Snap's doing that. It's probably because the base part is also crooked. Maybe Angle Snap doesn't work very well, or not Angle Snap, Hanger Grid. Maybe Hanger Grid doesn't work real well when I angle things like that. I don't know. Do it the old-fashioned way where you just kind of guess for a bit. Yeah, it was definitely messed up. Alright, so I think that's pretty close. Let's go through one more time, just sort of work out the kinks here real quick. I think that's good. Now I just need to move these into position. They still look angled. Oh man, they still look angled. Alright, I can't use hanger grid for this because it's just gonna mess it up. So let's just turn that off so I don't use it anymore. Just gonna have to eyeball this. Which I think that is not close. Oh, come on. Closer, but not close enough. I think that's better. That looks better. So I'm gonna also move it down a little bit. And now those should be pretty good, I think. I might be wrong, but they just need to get me into the air. So now I want to address the Delta V because I don't think we have enough fuel. I'm really kind of worried I am legitimately worried about not being able to get Duna, but actually, honestly, I just want to get to space. So let's do that. Save, launch, and then I'll look at the comments again. Oh, let's see. What do we got here? It tastes and smells horrid. I don't know. Uh-oh. Your engines are angled. Yes, I know. I did that on purpose, actually. I had commentary while I was doing it, which explained exactly why I was doing it. Okay, let's try this. Let's pay attention to the wheels here. I want to see if they're still crooked. They appear to be doing all right. They're all spinning. If they're all spinning, that's a good sign. They are a little bit crooked. We're drifting to the left a little bit here. Trying to pull it back, but I can't go too fast when you're trying to pull it back on the runway. Okay, let's lift it up. And we are in the air. And landing gear is up. And we're completely stable. I don't even have my hands on the keyboard. I think we might have done it. It's a little strange having these things angled like that, but I mean they are pointed at the center of mass, right? So yeah, I mean, Victor was last talking up coffee. I'm listening intently. Yes, Victor was also saying that everyone should go and like this video. So, oh, there is some side slip happening here. What's going on? Come on. Oh, I didn't action group these engines. I should have action grouped that already. I'll have to remember that for next time. How long has the stream been? We've been streaming for 2 hours. That includes the pre-show, so the stream has been an hour and a half so far. Wow. I was really kind of hoping to be on our way to Duna by this time, and then we could spend the last 20 minutes talking about like the contest and stuff, but the contest, I'll just say it now because it's really kind of anticlimactic, honestly. I've only received 1 craft. That's it for the challenge that was on the channel. Which, ooh, don't go too high. Hey, bring your nose down. What are you doing? Let's bring your nose down a bit here. We don't want to stall. That might be another reason why I got a whole bunch of slipping, because I'm going way too slow for the altitude. Crank up the speed, man. Let's go. Yeah, I only received 1 craft for the contest. And, so, yeah, winner by default, I guess. I will take a look at his craft at the end of the stream. I have only seen pictures. It looks complicated. I'll say it looks complicated, but it's completely 100% pure stock. So, you know, props to him. He did better than I could. And he also has a video that he's posted of the craft getting to orbit. He didn't post it going to Duna. At least if he did, I skimmed the video. Admittedly, I skimmed it. I didn't watch it. But I skimmed it, and it didn't look like he actually went to Duna with it, but I'm sure he had the Delta V to get there, and that's all you really need. You just need to get to orbit and then have the Delta V to be able to do it. So actually, I need to get. Let's lock this. I don't want you using fuel from this tank. I don't want you using fuel from this tank either. Pick our nose up here. Let's get some altitude. We're still pretty stable. I'm fairly happy with this, and the plane doesn't look that bad. I don't like the way the tanks, you know, intersect the wings. But other than that, this plane actually is nice. I think it's nice. It's simple. You know, it's not too complicated. It's just you know, it is exactly what it needs to be. At least, hopefully, it's exactly what it needs to be. All right, if we can get up high enough, these engines should cut and turn on their rocket modes automatically. Come on, do it. Get up there. Do it. And then hopefully when it does that, it doesn't like completely rock our nose. Come on. You're only at 30 kilonewtons. Do it. There you go. All right, let's close these intakes. Uh-oh. Yeah, I can feel the nose going up right now. Yeah, the nose is definitely going up. But is it something that I can't handle, right? Like, is it overpowering? There is a little bit of gimbling on the engines, so maybe I can control it. It would mean that we would have to do all of our burns manually, which I would have done anyway, but like we can't use like a flight computer or a mech-jeb or anything to do them for us, because mech-jeb wouldn't know what to do with it, I don't think. Oh, here we go. It's holding steady. I think that's enough. I think we might have done it. I think this is our stable plane that we can take to Duna. The only question now is Delta V, which looks bad if you look at far, but remember I'm also restricting access to 2 big fuel sources. So once I activate access to it, we'll get a lot more Delta V in that stat. So now it's just a matter of getting into orbit. Oh, jeez. Okay, getting into orbit slowly and controlled. Slowly and controlled getting to orbit, because it does still want to push our nose. So I do need to counter steer. I'm just holding down right now. It's not stable anymore. I'm just holding down, and it's, oh God, no, don't do it. RCS, help me. There we go. We're in space now, so RCS can help. Oh, yeah. Not enough, though. We're going to start losing RCS fuel. What's our stats at? We actually have quite a bit of monopropellant, though, so it's not that big of a deal. Oh, just cut the engines. We will coast to space now, and I will tell the pilot to point prograde. And hopefully the pilot will be able to do so. Now, obviously, we're not doing our flight now because I don't have the rover with us. But we have 472 meters per second of delta V. How much would it take to get into orbit from here? From 108. If I want to circularize this, it would only take me 286. So that's 286 is more than or we have more than that easily. And then when I activate access to this tank, for whatever reason, it's not updating. That should have updated. This number is much bigger than that. At least it should have been, because I just activated access to the tank. Uh-oh. If we actually are out of fuel, that's a problem. Let's push. Let's actually move fuel from the back to the front. Huh, that did, like, nothing. Okay. Wow. I mean, we can get to orbit. That's no problem. That's no problem. But for whatever reason, the stats on this are not what I would have expected them to be. Or rather, not what I would have hoped them to be. RCS is working really well. We're pretty balanced for that. That's good. Okay, let's take a look at comments really quick. Oh, every time I scroll up in the comments, it's gonna scroll on my camera too. Yeah, as soon as I tilted the engines down, it greened far. Like, all across the board green. I was going, what? And then I tested it too. I tested normal takeoff speed at the runway, tested clear green. Then I tested 0.6 Mach at 1 kilometer, all green. Tested 1 Mach at 10K, all green. 2 Mach at, I didn't test this one, but I feel like 2 Mach at 20K would have worked too. Not that it needs to. I guess that's probably not a big deal if it does, but okay, hopefully Jeb can keep us pointed at the maneuver. I'm going to just get us into orbit, and I want to see what we have left for Delta V, because I don't think we have enough. I think we're too short on fuel, which is really sad, because like I just got to orbit with an SSTO, which I mean, yeah, it's my first time I've ever gotten to orbit with an SSTO that used stock parts like this, you know, like full base stock parts like this. Obviously, it's not all stock, but a lot of it is, you know, it's a lot of stock for me. And then we can open this up just because, yeah. Cool. All right, so let's take a look at comments really quick again. I'm not gonna miss the maneuver. I'm watching it intently. But I do want to do the comments. So, how is it only 300 meters per second to orbit? Because I'm currently traveling just under 2,000 meters per second. And, you know, I'm at 108 kilometers in the air. My trajectory looks like this already, you know, because it's a plane. Planes have a, you know, fairly lateral trajectory, so your final maneuver to get into orbit is not usually very big. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to, yeah, that's a really hard thing to do. We're definitely not pointed at center of mass anymore. Oh man, that's difficult. Yep, we're definitely not pointed at center of mass anymore. So not quite the success story yet, but we're getting closer. right? We're in, at least we're in space now, you know? And we're very close to... If I don't do it, if I don't gun it, can we find a happy medium where I can control it and still accelerate? I think it's close to here. Very close to here. Very close. So like if I do baby steps on the power, we can still make progress. So, I mean, technically that's doable. I could just do like I could go in and limit the thrust of the engines so that they can only do like 20% power, or I guess in this case it's more like 5% power. But that's doable, kinda, you know. And we're getting into orbit. Oh, come on. This might be an ongoing project. You know, what if we built this plane together, you know? Really got it to do exactly what we wanted it to do, you know? I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna stop the burn now because we are in orbit. So what if we did that? What if we made like a Friday stream was like all like an ongoing thing where people who were part of the stream would like come back and just, you know, we would continue where we left off kind of thing, because I mean, we can continue working on the plane. It's kind of up to everyone else, but yeah, I don't think we're gonna get to Duna tonight. I wanted to, but if this plane didn't have this problem still, and if it was in orbit and it didn't have that problem still, I would say let's do it. But I think we can. Let's just see what it would take to get to Duna, right? In order to do that, we need a transfer window, which I should have planned that out ahead of time. That's my bad. Destination, Duna. Yeah, 100 and 100 is fine. We plot that. And if we plot that and we stick it in KAC, that's in 230 days. So if I time accelerated 230 days, it would be the total delta V would be 1679. So if I had 1679, I could get to a 100 kilometer orbit around Duna from where I am now. And then the thing is though, like I should have a lot more fuel than what this is telling me I have. These stats didn't change. Like if I do this, this doesn't get changed. Even though the engine can't access that fuel, it didn't change. Which is kind of not how that's supposed to work, you know? Like if I take the fuel away from here, it says 438. If I take the fuel out of here, now it says 330, right? So it's changing. I'm looking at this number here, guys. Delta V total in craft, right? So like if these little tanks, this tiny little bit of fuel that's right here, right? And this tiny little bit of fuel here. If I activate these two things, that little bit of fuel in each one of these tanks got me almost 80 delta V. So if that's the case, then what will this much fuel get me? You know? I feel like there's several hundred that's not being shown. But if I activate this and turn it on, it doesn't update here. So the only thing I can think of is that maybe... Oh, wait a minute. That's very possible. No, that can't be possible because we're drawing out. Never mind. I was gonna think maybe it's not connected. Maybe the engines can't access the fuel in that tank. But if that was the case, then why is their fuel drained? So never mind. That can't be it. Audio just kicked out. That's got to be your end, right? Uh-oh. Let me check my stream health. No, still good on the stream health as far as I can tell. The stream on my end is good. I can't vouch for YouTube, but for my end, the stream is fine. So yeah, I mean, we have basically a big fuel tank that's full of rocket fuel right here. with a couple of engines that have a decent ISP. The best in the world, but they're decent. So now here's an idea. All right, so here's an idea. Maybe we can fix this another way. If we leave the engines kind of pointed as they are, right? What if we added a nuke underneath the plane? It adds so much weight though. But we'd have the liquid fuel in these tanks to feed the nuke. I just feel like we could stock up on a bunch of liquid fuel in here and then just have the rocket fuel in this tank. So this tank right here would have all the rocket fuel we need to get us to orbit, and then the rest of the fuel tanks could all be just liquid fuel with a nuke on the back. That's an idea. I mean, that's the only idea I have. I do want to see how much I actually can burn, how much delta V I actually have in this. So I'm going to quick save really quick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a maneuver up to just like go to the sun. And we can see how much I actually, like how much delta V we actually burn, right? If I'm going to the sun, I got to go the other way. That would be probably good enough. Yeah. So if I wanted to go, oh man, let's crank that up. If I want to do something like that, that's a 1704. So this maneuver is 1704. So hypothetically speaking, if I can make this burn and burn it all the way down, and Flight Engineer is lying to me, which I know it's lying to me. We have more than 400 meters per second in this plane. It's lying to me the same way my ground-based package was lying to me, only this is in reverse. We actually have more than it's saying. See you the next episode. I'm frustrated. Anyway, so I'm going to try and burn this maneuver. And we're going to see whether or not we have the fuel to do it. So in order to do that, to face the maneuver first. And a nuke on the bottom would be giving you even more lift on the nose, wouldn't it? Not if I angled it up. So the goal of the nuke is that the nuke would not do anything until we're in space. And then once we're in space, only the nuke would fire, not the other engines. And so what my idea here is that since we were able to get to space with the engines exactly the way it is now here like this, once we're in space, we'll have an idea of sort of how the craft is, how it's weighted. And then if I had a nuke angled just right to where it was pointing at the center of mass that we expect it to have, we could feasibly have a separate engine whose sole purpose is offsetting this problem. Plus, the weight of the nuke itself at the bottom, I think, would also bring the center of mass down just a little bit, which might help us, maybe. I don't know. That's what's going in my head anyway. So let's time accelerate a little bit. I'm actually really happy with the frame rates too. I'm not used to frame rates like this. This is actually nice. I'm used to it in 1.2, which is awesome. If you're watching this stream and you haven't seen my stress test stream that I did a few days ago, like go to the channel, look for the thumbnail that has Kerbals holding up in red says "We can build it." The title is Stress Testing KSP 1.2. You don't have to watch the whole stream necessarily. Just jump to like an hour in, an hour and a half in, or something like that. And if you want to watch the whole thing, that's awesome. Thank you. But really, the good part, the part that I'm thinking of, the part that I'm like talking about, the performance improvements for that version, is just an unbelievable performance improvement in the next KSP. Just unbelievable. I had 2 crafts in orbit, just like this. I had 2 crafts, each of them, not total, but each had over 1,600 parts. and I was getting 20 frames per second when they were 150 meters apart from each other. Both crafts in physics range, I was getting 20 FPS. I've never, no, that doesn't happen in KSP, but it does, actually. In 1.2, it does. And that's the preview build. I'm sure there's some optimizations still left to be made. It does have significantly longer times for like scene loads and garbage collection. Significantly longer times regarding that. It does use more RAM in order to pull that off. It was stock, obviously. I didn't have any mods. It was stock, but the version of KSP, whoops, I turned the engine on. I didn't mean to do that. The version of KSP, 1.2, I didn't have any mods installed, but I'm not used to KSP just natively taking 7 gigs of RAM, 6 gigs of RAM, but it was. But I mean, I've got 32 in my system, so if I can get, like, seriously, 20 frames per second, doesn't sound like a big deal, but anyone who's played KSP, I tell you that I had 2 crafts in physics range, 1,600 parts per craft, and I was getting 20 frames per second. That's the next version of KSP, guys. That's what it is. It's amazing. So go, if you want to see that like up close, you want to see that in person, check out the last stream that I did. The last stream, it says stress testing. A lot of other people, right, they got their hands on, and I know I'm kind of talking a lot instead of piloting, but like I think we pretty much established that we're not getting to Duna tonight, and that this is sort of the way our craft is going to be for now. We might pick this up on the next Friday. We can do next Friday. We can pick it right back up. I can play around with things a little bit, see, test some things before the stream, and then I can sort of share my findings with you, and maybe we can get this done. But the thing is, so go watch, not right now, but like find some time, after work, or maybe you're sitting around, you got nothing to do one day. On the channel, I streamed it on the 13th, I think. It says 9/13. It went live on the 15th, but it went live yesterday, but I streamed it on the 13th. YouTube takes forever to encode these streams. But that, like, zoom an hour into it or something if you want. But 1,600 parts, 2 crafts, 150 meters apart from each other, 20 frames per second. Now, while I was up there, the goal was to dock them together. And after they were docked, frame rates dropped to about 7. And the reason it does that is because Unity, specifically Unity 5, or really any version of Unity, but Unity 5, it only uses 1 thread to calculate the physics per craft. So like 1 processor thread per craft. So with an Intel processor, like I have a 6-core, so I have 12 threads, and KSP is only using 1 of them, like at any given time for 1 craft. When I've got 2 crafts together in physics range, there's 2 crafts. They each can use a thread. Okay, so they each get their own thread, 20 frames per second with 2 of them. But once I dock them together, they become 1 craft with almost 3,300 parts. And so, like, now a 3,300 part craft has to use only 1 thread. Significant performance drop at that point. And then we actually crashed the game at the end when we tried to deorbit the thing, and it didn't like that, and there was explosions, and it ended up with, like, I don't know, bajillion parts of debris everywhere, and like, it was fun. Anyway, yeah, so let's look at the comments a little bit. I'm talking to Matt. I did look at your hours in Prison Architect. Congratulations on that, I guess. You have a lot more than I do. It's cool. You have a lot more games than I do, too. You have like 2,000 games. Like, I don't have the capacity to have that many. I think my account has like 50-something, low 50s. And that's only because I had like huge Steam sales and bundles that, like the Half-Life bundle that gave me like 20 games already, just doing that. Okay, so I'm thinking, see you guys. Yep, have a good night. I know it's getting late. I'm actually about to end the stream, so we're gonna play around with this plane a little bit more. I'm going to try to sort of solve this center of thrust issue. Maybe it just needs a whole new redesign, I don't know. But before I end the stream, I want to look at the craft that was sent to me because it's made completely stock. So I'm gonna go to revert the flight, and let's take a look. This is the winner by default, the contest. It's gonna be, as long as his plane shows me the stats that work. He tells me he was not able to successfully test it with FAR. He didn't have, he built it in 1.2, and I don't know why he couldn't bring it back to the previous version and test it with FAR, but for whatever reason he didn't. So I'm gonna do that now. We'll see how his plane operates in FAR. He got to orbit just easily. He got to orbit really easy. He got back and landed on the landing strip. I watched that video, or watched that part of the video, so he did a really good job there. But how well does it do in FAR? I don't know. Let's find out. If I open, I should have his craft in here somewhere. Should. Because I did put it in here before starting the game. There it is, right here. SSTO Kerbal X Edition 2.4, 587 parts in 3 stages. Okay, let's take a look. This is a craft that was sent to me. It's not mine. It was sent to me by, I actually don't know the username of the person that sent it to me. It was just an email address, and I'm not gonna share that on the stream. So this is his plane. Wow, that's pretty massive. Look at all the nukes. And they're even bit of a part clip going on there. Wow, that doesn't make them explode. It's kind of nice. I kind of like how they comes together like a flux capacitor, you know. I sincerely hope that nobody watching this stream is too young to know what I just said. If you don't know what a flux capacitor is, you literally need to go back in time and find out. Okay, so this looks pretty cool, but I have a feeling, just looking at this, there's not a whole lot of lifting surface here, and the front end is really long. But I think the front end is really long because the back end is so heavy. I kind of want to try and fly it. So let's try and fly it first, and then we'll analyze it with FAR after we try and fly it. So let's just launch it. Let's just see what it is. If this flies in FAR and I can get to orbit with it right now, you win. I'll just give it. You'll win the $10. The prize is $10 Steam gift card. So you'll win it. If you're watching the stream, you'll win it. Which, I saved this to the end of the stream to encourage, without telling you, kind of, to encourage you to watch the whole stream. See how I did that? Well, it loads to the launch pad just fine. There's enough parts here to where I have a little bit of a frame rate thing, but whatever. It looks like it has 15,000 meters per second of delta V. Now, I don't know exactly how you're supposed to fly this, but I will assume that just by looking at the staging, all of these engines, which I think are all Rapiers, yep, so many Rapiers, they're all gonna switch themselves, so I don't need to do it. Oh man, they're loud. Ooh, that sound. That sound. Oh yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we got a frame rate issue with it because of how big it is and how many parts there are. But we've got the thrust all the way up. We're accelerating. I'm hoping we can get in the air. I really want to see what it can do in the air. I honestly, to be completely frank, before we lift off, before we try, I just don't think it will lift off. I don't think it has enough lifting surfaces for FAR, but that's just me. The Rapiers, I think, do have some gimbaling, so... and he hasn't told me how to fly it, so if I'm supposed to like action group this for rockets for liftoff, I don't know I'm supposed to do that, so... you know, if it doesn't lift off because of that, then that would be why. Alright, let's try and pick up... Let's try to pick it up. It's not picking up. I'm trying to pick it up. It's not picking up. It's not gonna pick. Oh, oh, the front wheel's off the ground. Oh, front wheel is up. Hold on, we might have something here. Oh, oh, maybe. No, wait. Oh, I can't control it. I can't bring the nose down. The nose is going up. I'm pushing it down as hard as I can. There we go. Let's get the landing gear up. I think we might have this thing, and this thing can actually fly. I still can't get the nose down though. I'm pushing down with the nose. I'm trying to nose down as hard as I can. I'm gonna turn the volume down in the game a little bit. I think it might be a little bit loud. I'm really trying to, maybe I don't want to nose down, but I feel like if I don't nose down, then it will nose up too far. Maybe not. It totally feels like it will. Ah, come on. It's more like a hovercraft now. Well, it's stable. It's not really lifting much, but it's stable. Maybe it has a really slow. Maybe it's supposed to go slow on the takeoff. You know, maybe we're supposed to, you know, work our way up gradually with a very horizontal. Oh, what was that? What was that? Did you guys see that? What was that? Adjustable ramp intake was heated by engine exhaust from Rapier. All of our adjustable ramp intakes, all of our intakes just exploded? Is that what that was? All of our intakes are gone? Wow, there's a bunch of them. It says heated. It doesn't say it exploded though. It's got it all strutted together. We are gaining altitude. There's no doubt about it. We're definitely gaining altitude with this plane. With FAR. It's just taking a bit longer because of the frame rates and because I think this thing is supposed to, I think it's supposed to go up shallow. Well, shoot. I mean, oh, what was that? Oh, it's just, what? Something is overheating. I don't know what it is. It's oh, there goes the engines. You guys called it. I watched it in the comments. I was waiting for it. You guys knew. And I'm pretty sure I don't think we can continue to climb. I'm trying. You know, we're technically not falling yet. We're still climbing. It's still happening. But I'm having a very difficult time keeping myself from rolling. It wants to roll over very badly, and I think it's about to do so. And there it goes. Not much I can do about it. I'm fighting it as hard as I can. Well, there it is. I hope your ears weren't... Oh, there it is. Oh. Okay. Now, the real question is... Oh, wow. Okay. 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 I'll turn the audio down in case it's too loud. I know explosions are pretty loud in this game sometimes. Wow, it's glorious. That is a fireworks show for sure. And yet, if we had parachutes on our cockpits, which is something I do in every single plane I build, I put a parachute on the cockpit. If we had parachutes on the cockpit, these pilots would live. Look at the parts. Glorious. All right, let's revert flight, and I want to see what FAR thinks of this. Because I don't think it was me. I don't think it was my piloting, but it might have been my piloting, which is the reason why it died. I mean, it could have been. I like to give it. I like to give craft the shadow. I like to give the craft that I didn't build, but I'm trying to fly, the benefit of the doubt that it's my piloting skills. So let's see what Far thinks of it. Far actually doesn't mind too much. It has some downforce, which is the... Actually, this is more of an upforce. I was trying to keep it down. But when I get to... Let's see, when I get to 1K, can I go 0.6? No, we're going to have a whole bunch of things happening, which I think is probably the part where the front end wants to come up. How is his center of mass and lift and all that? Ooh, look at that. Center of mass, or center of... Wait, where is it? Is it? Is it inside the center of mass? Is that where the center of lift is? Is it right in here? Or is it just not showing up? I feel like it's there. Hold on, let's turn the... Yeah, it's right there. That would be why, right there. Center of mass and center of lift are basically right on top of each other. Wow. I'm gonna go with this. You know what? Here's what I want to do. There are 43 people watching this stream right now, and I want to give you guys another chance. And I think we've kind of proven that perhaps this craft doesn't make the cut in terms of like what it can do to do it the task. It's very close though. So what I want to do is this. I want to give people more time to submit entries. I want to give people more time to do, you know, the goal, because I really didn't announce it with a whole lot of time. You know, I gave you guys 48 hours, and if we had more time, I think it would be more successful. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to move my camera over here because I think it's, I don't know, it's in the way. What I want to do is this. Next Friday's stream, we're doing another Fun Friday, right? I'm going to try to do this every Friday, and I'm going to try and do a consistent time, which is going to be about the same time, hopefully on time. Here's what I want to do. Make me a craft, right? I want to do the same challenge. I'm going to continue it with my own plane. I literally, you guys have had more time to do yours than I have done mine. I've only had an hour and a half to try mine. Make me a plane, and it's got to get to Duna with 15 Kerbals. It has to have a rover that it brings to the surface. No requirements for the rover other than it has to be able to move on its own independently on the surface and perform a single science experiment, no matter what that is. So that's the goal, right? And it's got to be an SSTO. It doesn't have to be a plane. It can be another type of craft, as long as it doesn't jettison or get rid of any of its hardware, right? As long as it does not remove. So if you can build a rocket that without staging, without getting rid of any of your parts of your rocket, you can get all the way to Duna and land. Well, I'm going to do a slow clap for you. But if you're able to do that, fine. But the challenge is the same challenge as we have now. I'm going to do it next stream. I'm hoping we get some more crafts submitted. And the same prize, right? A $10 Steam gift card to the winner. Okay? You can spend it on whatever you want. Yeah, that's it. So if you're watching the stream to the end, you have your marching orders. Should you choose to accept them, it's up to you. And then come on back to the next stream. This has been Hot Tips Fun Fridays. We're gonna try and do this 9 o'clock. Probably 9 o'clock every Friday, probably. Unless, at least for the foreseeable future, until some other type of schedule seems to work. It's possible I'll do 2 streams a week, maybe one in the middle of the week, in the middle of the day, for those of you who are on, like, say, Germany. I know some of you guys are from Europe. I know some of you guys are maybe from, like, I think there was a guy from Serbia here once. And I know that this time doesn't work for you guys. It's super early in the morning for you. So maybe we can kind of do that. Now, to Matt's question, can you do the craft in 1.2? You can. Feel free to do it in any version of KSP you want. as long as I can open your craft with 113 and with FAR installed and test it, because you have to have FAR installed. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the goal, or for those of you who aren't necessarily familiar with the challenge itself, and you want to read more about it, because it's in text. I have this challenge as in text version, and I'm going to show it to you as soon as I can load it up on my computer, because this is let's give you display capture. Which one is it? It is this one. Yep. Let's give you my display. There we go. Okay, so the criteria for everything, right? The criteria for the stream, for the contest, is it was here. Now I don't know where it went. Thousands of parts. I had this challenge here. I might have removed it. It might have been auto removed from when the stream started, because I didn't want people to start submitting things that they weren't eligible. But tell you what, I will have a link in the description of this video when the stream is online for everyone to see. And then as soon as I'm done streaming, I'm going to get a link and I'm going to drop it in the comments here for the live feed. And so people who are live can still get it, even they don't have to wait a couple of days. And that will have it'll have everything, all the details for this challenge. I think it's the page for the stream itself was the actual challenge. This is the stream feed. The feed is actually here right now. This if I click this, it's the live feed. I should be able to see myself, probably. But tell you what, yeah, I do. So anyway, this feed, this stream, if you go to hottipsmedia.com right now, the top article, the big full width banner top article, has the feed for this stream in it right now. And in the details is the rules for this contest. I know it's not that big of a prize. When I get more subscribers, if I get maybe a few more patrons or something, if when the channel grows, I can do more, and we'll have $20 gift cards, $50 gift cards as we go, because I want to give back to the people who give to me. So that's gonna do it for the stream, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. If you like this stream and you want to see more of it, be sure to hit like on the stream itself. And also, if you happen to see the stream, a day from now, 2 days from now, after YouTube is done processing it, go ahead and feel free to comment on the stream as well. That really helps it out a lot. You guys don't know what likes and comments, interaction with a video helps videos rank up in YouTube. So really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I know I didn't quite get as many of the comments and address questions and comments as I usually do, because we have this big delay. I didn't want you to buffer. Hopefully there wasn't as many buffering problems this time as the last few streams because of that. We will have to figure out how that all works. We'll have to figure out what the best approach is going forward for delays and all that stuff. But anyway, guys, I am going to end the stream now. Thanks for watching, appreciate it, and I will see you next time. It's been really fun. I really like this, and it's going to be a regular thing. And if you're interested, if you think I do a good job, and if you're not a student, just endless self-promotion with no shame, I know. If you're interested, I do have plenty of pretty good patron rewards available for those who feel as though they would like to contribute, including an update feed once a week where I tell you exactly what day and time every episode for every series I'm doing is going to go live throughout the week. Everyone who's $1 or more gets access to that feed. So if for nothing else, there's that. So I have a whole bunch of different perks there if you're interested. If not, no big deal. And if you're a student, I don't want your money. Keep it. You have bigger things to worry about. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I will see you next time. Peace out. Bye-bye.